Hello, this is Paul Wilson Jr., Area Director of the UGA Small Business Development Center at Georgia State University. This is your business tip of the week. I truly believe people are the most valuable resource of any business. And of course, like any valuable resource, supply and demand is always going to be an issue. Seems like when you really need them, they're hard to find. It seems like when you don't need as many, more are available than what's required at that moment. And it's also very true that in a very tight labor market, it's hard to find enough good people, right? But when the labor market is open and there's a lot of availability, then the challenge becomes how to find the right people. So you can find enough, but the key is how do you find the right people for the right position to do the right job in your business? You really have to look at your human resource process as a supply chain management opportunity. Yeah, I'm gonna say opportunity. So for large corporations, it's common for them to think about their human resources function as several steps in a process, similar to a supply chain management strategy, even if they don't use that language. But many small businesses, again, just because of lack of time and resources, oftentimes don't think about the human resources strategy. But I'm sure many of you can admit that hiring the wrong person is definitely going to cost you more time and more money to finally get the right person in there. So I'm going to give you a few steps along the process of the human resources function that if you think about it from a supply chain perspective and put a little bit more time in to think about each step, it may save you a lot of time and trouble, but also help you get the right person internally. You start with recruiting, right? That's the process of putting together your job posting, but making sure you have the right information in that job posting to attract the people that you really want to come work with you. And then you have to go through a filtering process, right? To go from all those who may have applied to then filter that down to those who you're going to actually interview. And then you want to make sure in your interview you have the right types of questions to make sure that you're hearing the right types of answers. So people can't just perform well in the interview, although they're not qualified for the job. And then those who interview, they have to go through a selection process so that you know which person or persons you want to choose from all those who interview. So what's your criteria for selecting and making that final decision? And then once you bring them on board, what's your onboarding and orientation process? That may involve some initial training. And then what's your process for ongoing management and managing their performance once they're actually doing the job? And then what about training on the other end of that, right? So that they can actually get better at doing their job. And what about those who then separate themselves from the crowd and show leadership characteristics? You may actually want to promote them in the future for leadership opportunities. And so you want to think about a way, how do I develop these leaders, again, so to prepare them maybe for future opportunities? And then lastly, and unfortunately, right, what's your process for letting people go, terminating people, right? What's the criteria for that? So it's not haphazard, and you're also protecting yourself, but at the same time, you know you have a good process in place when those decisions have to be made. So I know I mentioned a lot of steps in that process, but if you take some time to develop some criteria for each of those steps, you will have a much more effective human resources management process. And if it does seem a little overwhelming, I completely understand that too. That's why we're here at the Small Business Development Center, where we can assist you with developing the criteria in your human resources management process. And that's your business tip of the week. Contact us today to take advantage of no-cost one-on-one consulting for your business.